Alright, so we are just now arriving at Monticello, which is where Thomas Jefferson lived all those many years ago. I'm pretty excited. We're gonna see if maybe there's a tour that we can take, but we'll see how it goes. Jade, are you excited?
I'm cold.
It's 41 degrees out, and I love it. So we'll see how this goes. We ended up getting a tour, $25 during the winter, to be able to drive up the mountain to go see the actual estate and the grounds around it, and supposedly they've preserved it pretty well, so. So it was actually at this point on tour when they pulled me aside and said that I was not going to be able to take any videos or shoot any photos while inside of the estate. And the reason being is because there were so many artifacts and things that they had collected or borrowed from private collectors and other museums that were, I guess, agreed upon that other people would not be able to take pictures, which I thought was funny because if you go to monticello.org, you'll be able to find all the pictures of the inside. So, to each his own. I'm going to be sure to put the link in the description below. That way you guys can take some time to review how beautiful the estate is. And after we were able to go through the actual home where he lived, where he ate, where he drank, we were able to go through and look at the slave quarters and all the rooms and storage areas that were actually underneath the house.
I want one of those in the house. Sweetheart, I want a bottle of water. What do you think?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
So this next room is probably one of my favorites. It's kind of funny to me because not only did they have a wine cellar, but they had a beer cellar. So like Thomas already knew that he needed to give Martha whatever she needed. And he was sure to take his own as well.
Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The other side. Oh my gosh. With this view, if this doesn't tell you why I moved to Virginia.
So unfortunately, you guys got to the point of the video where my phone battery actually died. Turns out shooting 4K video on your iPhone 8 Plus drains your battery a lot faster than you realize. In retrospect, I probably should have just grabbed Jade's phone to continue recording, but hindsight is 20/20. I mean, we only continued to walk through the grounds for another 15 to 20 minutes. We did get to see the actual slave quarters where the slaves actually lived. Now, the tour guides were actually incredible. They were, of course, a wealth of knowledge, and they were very well versed, as I'm sure they do this at least 10 times a day. Now, there were several things that left me with questions about the mindset of people back in those days, and questions that I just wish I could actually ask Jefferson myself. I mean, we know he was very intelligent and was thirsty for knowledge. He could speak in English, French, Italian, and Latin. His library actually had books in Greek, Latin, French, Italian, Spanish, and English, of which he read all of them. He owned between 9,000 and 10,000 books in his personal library, of which he ended up donating 6,500 to the government to start the Library of Congress. And of course, he wrote the Declaration of Independence, of which many can quote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they're endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." Biggest question of all, how could someone who wrote the words, "all men are created equal," in that order, have owned over 600 slaves in his lifetime? Of which he only freed 4 of, because they were his kids that he ended up having with one of his slaves, Sally Hemings. So for all of you who've been brave enough to watch this whole video, I actually have a question for you, and I want you to sound off in the comments below. What's your opinion on that matter? I'd love to get some feedback from you guys. Now, I ended up being so intrigued with Jefferson's history that I'm going to be doing a tour of his summer home that he built in Forest, Virginia, which is funny enough where I actually play golf when the weather permits. And that'll be coming in the upcoming weeks. But for now, guys, I just want to thank you for watching East Coast Antics, and I'll catch you later.